Um, it's so nice to see so many people join in from everywhere. Specifically, like it's exciting as an engineer to see like designers uh, get like excited about coding. So in this episode and this in the next 3 weeks, we will go from a blank canvas to a deployed app, and we have 6 episodes and 2 episodes every week. Today we're going to do how to speak to your code base, and then on Thursday we're going to talk about how the web apps work, meaning how the front end talks to the back end and how data flows between that. And in the course of these 6 episodes, we're going to work on a quote generator application. It's a very simple application that allows you to ask your application to generate a quote for you depending on the mood that you're in. And we will talk about like how to scaffold the UI from shared CN components. We will then talk about how the front end works to the back end, and then understand how database and APIs work. We will also understand how Git works, which is really important as a skill to have to save your code base and also collaborate with other people who will contribute to your application development. And in the last episode, we will also deploy your application on Vercel. And Vercel is a platform which allows you to deploy your application in like one click. You just hit publish and then boom, you have a website. So what we're going to build is a quote generator app. This is uh, the UI for the application. Depending on how our AI coding tool behaves today, we will get really close to how this application looks like right now. And the learning goals for today will be how to use Cursor, which is currently the most popular AI coding tool, which is an assistant to help you code faster. And we will go from a prompt to a prototype. We will also understand what is the difference between a good prompt versus a not so good prompt, and also try to understand which path to take and when to decide when we are going to take control versus depend on the AI to move forward. And we will leave this session with like a simple layout of our application today. The best way to take this lesson right now is just to watch and follow along. And maybe after the course, after the lesson, you can try to do it yourself. Because if you try to do it side by side with me, maybe um, you'll be stuck with debugging and we won't be able to help you. So it's best to follow it along after the session. So I said Cursor is an AI code editor, and it's divided into 3 screens. The screen is divided into 3 panels. The left side of the screen is a file explorer. The right side of the screen is the AI chatbot. And the center of the screen is your, if you, for people who like Figma, think of it as your canvas where you're going to write code. And let me show you the map of Cursor in terms of the tool itself. So this is Cursor right now. I'm going to open a project and I'm going to go to my documents folder. I'm going to go inside AI assisted coding for designers and then go to lessons, create a new folder. Let's call this mode quote. Let's open. So if you see, like I said earlier, we have manage on the left, code editor in the center, and the AI panel on the right. So we have the file explorer on the left, the code editor in the center, and the chatbot on the right. One key thing to notice is there's also a notepad here, which is basically a place to jot down your ideas as you have them. And This is to search for something specific in your code base, and this is to connect your code base to GitHub, which is where we'll be storing our code. And this is the chat part where all the magic happens. So we're gonna go from like a blank canvas to a UI that looks nice without writing a single line of code, just by prompting. So let me go back to the slides and show you the difference between an unclear prompt and a clear prompt. So the prompt on the left is functional but very vague. If it says make a website for my portfolio, it's not specifying the stack. It's not specifying important features of your portfolio. It's just very super vague. So it means something like this, the AI tool would do it for you, but it will not do it exactly how you want it to do. And then you will end up wasting a lot of tokens specifying what you really want to do if you try to correct it. So I would recommend spending more time drafting your prompt than sending your prompts. So crafting the perfect prompt is really important. So if you look on the right, a clear prompt is it's specifying you should use HTML and Tailwind CSS. It also is mentioning that you need to have a hero section with the name and title, links to your GitHub and LinkedIn, and you want the site to be responsive so that it opens on the mobile application and also on the web page. So this is like in terms of seed prompt, this is the template you should follow. Build me something with this tech stack and these features. This is just a disclaimer slide. Um, it's it's very exciting to build something with no code, but at some point you'll realize that your code will break, and then you will feel overwhelmed. But it's important to just embrace debugging, which is the thing is once you have a coding assistant, you can leverage it to do the debugging for you as opposed to doing it yourself. So this is just a small disclaimer. And I'll go back to Cursor to demo going from a prompt to a prototype. So for our application, I have one seed prompt and four UI enhancement prompts. On the left, if you see, I'm going to use this seed prompt for our application, which means you will go from a blank canvas to like a basic layout for your application. So if you look at the seed prompt, it's saying using Next.js, ShadCN, and Tailwind CSS. So Next.js is a JavaScript framework, which is used for modern web applications. It takes care of deployment and it's built for web performance. And then ShadCN is a library that enables you to use UI components out of the box so that you don't have to build them yourself. And Tailwind CSS is for animation and making your site look fancy and pretty, but you can modify on top of this, but it's a nice to have. The next line is making sure that the packages are not deprecated. This is important because sometimes these AI models are trained on past data and it might use a package that is deprecated. So it's important to specify your AI agent that makes sure that the packages are not deprecated. And then the next paragraph is just like specific things about our application that we want it to do. And then also giving some context about how we want the layout to be. So let me go back to Cursor and paste the seed prompt. So I'm back in Cursor and I'm going to paste the seed prompt in here. So if you look here, one key thing to note is agent mode and ask mode. Agent mode will actually write code for you. Ask mode is simply for brainstorming. It will not take any actions in your code base. It will simply, it's like having your chat GPT interaction for brainstorming inside Cursor. And this thing on the right is selecting the model for you. So if you auto select it, it will select what is right depending on quality and speed. If you have a specific model that you like and prefer, you should select it. But for now, let's do auto select. And if you have a screenshot of something that you want it to stick to, you can attach it using this. But for now, let's start from blank. So it's asking us, do you want to create a Next.js application? So let's keep going. I'll just keep hitting enter for default. So if you see, it's installing some dependencies for us, and it's already populated the code base for us. So the next thing it's doing is installing ChatCN UI. So I presume this is a deprecated package. So let's see if it understands that it's deprecated and corrects itself. Yep. So it was able to detect that the package is deprecated, and it's finding the correct one and doing it for us. Which color would you like? I'll just go with the default. Again, go with the default setting. It's asking us, do you want a button and a card input? Again, going forward with the default. It's writing more code for us. And if you see, it's populating the code base for us right here. So now if you look, if there's two ways to accept this code. If you in the code base, there's an accept and reject here, and then there is an accept here. So I'm going to accept everything. And then it created the Next.js application for us. And now it's showing us how do we run this. So instead of clicking open terminal here, let me show you one thing in the toggle panel. So if you look here, it opens up a terminal. So think of terminal as something that, if I give you an analogy of a car, the terminal is it's like an engine for your code base. So without the terminal, your like your website will not open up. So it's telling us what command to run. So I'm going to say npm run dev. And now it's saying our server is operational on localhost 3000, and the network is this one. So the difference between the two URLs is on your local machine, which is your laptop right now, it will open up on this website. And if you copy the next URL on your phone and paste it, it will open up in your phone. So it's on the network, like your Wi-Fi network right now. So let's go and open this on our browser. Yep. So we have like just the bare bone structure of the website. Now let's go back to Cursor and let's stop the agent. And let's see what's next in our UI. So I want to add a theme toggle button to my application so that it also has dark mode. So let me copy the UI enhancement prompt, the first one. And then I will go back to Cursor and paste this. So now it's telling me, do you want a drop-down menu or do you want something else? So this is also a good way to decide, do you want it to make decisions for you or do you have a separate idea? So I would say I do not want a drop-down menu. Let's use the sun moon icon instead. So now it's creating the theme provider part for us, and then it's using this package. Let's accept it. Accept. Let's go back to our site. Yep, so it has dark mode and light mode. Um, what we can do next is if I go back to my site and let's add some mode suggestions under the input box. So instead of using text, you can also use your voice with Cursor. So let me stop this. And how I'm going to do this is on your keyboard, the bottom left is the globe icon, the globe key. I'm going to press it twice and then say something in my chatbot. So let's see. Add 5 mode suggestion badges under the input box using shadcn UI badge component. So this is not bad. If you want to move fast and you like um you like speaking to the AI agent more than typing to it, I would recommend using this because sometimes your prompts can be more than 3 sentences or even like 6 sentences. So I'm someone who types a little slower, so I sometimes use my voice instead of typing.
Jeanette, I saw a question in the chat.
Sure.
So
Yep.
Anthony was asking, is there a way in Cursor to accept everything by default always without
Uh,
having to click or hit command?
right. There is a way, but the thing is, it's it's called, if you go inside cursor settings, they have something called YOLO mode, which if you enable YOLO mode, it will accept everything you do always. As an engineer, I do not recommend that because that sort of means like you're giving away control to the agent. But yes, if you enable YOLO mode, you just feed in a prompt. You just go make coffee and come back in 15 minutes. It's done something for you, and you can just check. But yeah, there is a way to do that. I just don't recommend it. Yeah, so I think our badges are done. And if you look, we have some mode badges. So what I would ideally want is, oh wow, so it did an extra step for us. It's auto-populating the input box when we click on it. And the last thing on our UI enhancement is to make this code generation functional. So I'm going to go back and say, add the click functionality to handle the code generation. Let's correct the spelling for this. So it's generated some quotes for us, and it's going to link it to every mode selection that we have. And let's hit accept, accept all. Great. Okay, let's go back and let's click energetic. Let's hit good quote. Great. So we have a quote always. Wow, this was so quick. As an engineer, I've just spent hours just making the theme toggle work, and now we have like a UI template that works. Let's use one final enhancement. Um, I can say something like use framer motion for animation and make the website feel premium. This is unbelievable. Wow. Okay. So if we go back, let's see what it has done. Yeah, so it has done some animation for us. If you see how the website loads, it loads slowly and it it gets a quote for us. Um, let's do one last thing. Um, make the site colorful and vibrant. Wow. Okay. This is okay. Wow. I wasn't ready for this. This is
I can see the light reflection on your face.
yeah. Yes. I thought it would just like make some of the badges like different colors, but it just changed the whole theme of my application. Um, okay, let's get back to the slides. Um, yeah, I would just recommend using these prompts and doing it for yourself after this lesson just to play with it. And don't like nothing would break. You don't have a database in place, so don't worry about like things breaking. Just keep prompting. These are some seed prompts for UI components that you can use. If you want to build a nav bar from scratch or a product card or a dropdown. Um, one bonus tip I have is if you use words that you already know, like the hero section or the CTA button or the card layout or nav links or things like that, um, just use them in the prompt, and I think that would really help you. Is there a question in the chat, Zernon?
So far, there is a question about which is already answered. What's the difference between the terminal that you open here in Cursor versus the
Mhm.
terminal you open, outside as a separate application?
Uh, there is no difference. As long as you're in the same project directory, it's the same thing. Um, I see one. Why is seed prompt run before UI enhancement prompt? Yes, good question. I think this is important because sometimes you don't want to compress everything in one prompt. You want to have a bare bone structure and then keep adding layers to it. Because the thing is, imagine building an application with AI as climbing a mountain. If you've reached a certain point and you want to change something, and you have forgotten that, you have to come back all the way down. You have to roll back and then do that thing again and then go back up. So it's better to start from something stable and then keep adding layers for enhancement. So let's think of seed prompt as your bare bone structure and then adding more things on top of it as layers to enhance your application. Okay, I see one more question. Framer, how do developers or yourself? I I think it's very like it's like when I see an animation on a website, it's important to like you don't have to use Framer motion, but I was just aware of it, so I used it. But the thing is, if you are very clear and specific in your prompt about what you want the site to do, if you say something like, I want my card component to load slowly with some animation, uh, then it will like auto suggest you about whether you want frame to use framer motion or you want to use something else. But if you are not aware of framer motion, that's okay. But as long as you're specific about using animations or doing some CSS styling, I think the key here is prompting. Yes, uh you can also yes ask what are the animation options like Maha said, because if you use the ask mode here, you can just like brainstorm here with your AI agent and it will tell you what packages can we use for animation. Okay, let's go back to the slides. Yeah, the key takeaways from this is that it's you just like spend more time working with AI tools as opposed to um, like dismissing it because eventually I was speaking to uh, Shinyan this morning and we were just talking about how the roles of designers and engineers will evolve over time. Meaning, I feel like as an engineer, my role will change from writing code to guiding code and reviewing code. And the role of designers and PMs will change from um, designing product spec to actually showing up with prototypes in your meetings because uh, the rate of development is so fast.